All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Tonight we will have three separate meetings. We'll start with a revenue neutral hearing meeting, our hearing, then we'll go to the budget hearing, and then we'll have the regular scheduled board meeting. So I'd make a motion to adopt the agenda for the revenue neutral rate hearing as no.
Second. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So motion carries. Any delegation regarding the revenue neutral rate? Yes?
Yes.
So if anybody wants to speak, we have microphones here in the middle for you to talk to. That way people online can hear what's going on also. Yeah, so.
Test. Test. Just give it a second. 1, 2. Wait, that's really good. Well, I'm Dr. Harmon, and glad to be here. And once again, I want to thank you all for serving our 420 district and all the things you do for our children and for the education. This is for Mr. Hutton. When questioned at the last meeting on the budget, you were asked, do we need the money? And you stated right now we do not. So why are we asking for an increase in the LOB?
Well, what I stated was we could get by, for a year or two without doing that maybe, but my concern would be if you keep going revenue neutral rate, at some point that's going to catch up with you and eliminate or cause you problems keeping up with you.
Well, I believe in the past when the school needed this new facility and when the school needed money, the people stood up, and I just can't believe that we wouldn't make sure our students had the money. And if we have the money now to project on, I would ask you to seriously consider being really careful about raising mill levies right now in this economy. When you have enough money, we'll get the kids in the school money when we're asked for it. I really believe that you don't have to worry about the citizens in Osage City and this 420 district making sure our kids get educated. We'll make sure you get the money. So, and if you don't need it right now, it would be nice for the businesses and the people to keep their own money. And when it comes time, if we need it, we'll get it there. And I would like to also end with a side note that we're mostly going to be talking about finances and budget tonight. But I attended a meeting with Mr. Talbert on the achievement levels, and I can promise you that I will be, I guess a metaphor would be I'm shooting a shot across the bow, that the percentages of reading level and our percentages across the state in 420 are not acceptable with me. So when we get done talking about money, I am going to be very concerned about raising the achievement level up of our students. It looks to me like we're going to be north of $16,000 per student, and we're not getting the product that we need for that amount of money. So I'm going to be watching very carefully the achievement scores and what we're going to be doing with our students, because it's not acceptable to have 31% of our students graduating from this school that are not college, that they're only 31% are a reading level. That's not acceptable. So that's a side note. So just be prepared.
Good evening. Oh, did you turn it off? Yep. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Hi, I'm Rhonda Harmon. I'm Bob's wife, but I have a couple questions that I want to ask from. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I watched it online. But my question is for Mr. Linton. You stated at the last budget meeting, and I quote from the newspaper, if we give the money back, we have to ask for it back. Can you explain that? I guess I don't understand.
It's my understanding that once the revenue neutral rate is at the threshold that we can receive the taxes from the city, local, and county level. If we don't maintain that level, we won't be able to receive any additional revenue that's brought in from essentially June to November. Because it's determined in November 1st what the actual revenue is that we would receive. If we don't maintain at the current threshold, then we have the potential to lose any additional revenue that it would go back to the county or potentially back to the state. And so it's my understanding of the revenue neutral rate and the LOB that's why I'm in favor of keeping it at the 30% level to make sure that we are able to gain any excess revenue that might come in due to new businesses, new housing, or anything that happens locally from that June to November period.
Okay. Then my next question is, and where you said, for the taxes and that, this one's for you, Kat Bellinger. You stated it's only $11.50 increase in a $100,000 home. Have you done a real estate study to see if the homes in our district exceed that by quite a bit? Has there been any no study done?
No.
And also,
Study, clarify really quick if you're going to come to me with a question like that. I need to give an example, right, so that people understand the math behind this. So it was just a quick example that I came up with. Okay, 100,000. That's something that we can all, come to the math table to talk through impact to money.
okay. And then it's, and also how does this affect the commercial businesses? I mean, if we raise the rates, we rely heavily in a small town on our businesses. And I believe that rate is probably 25% more, and the values are substantially more than 100,000 on our commercial. When you talk about raising taxes, it's not just on homes. It's the businesses in this town, and they're taxed heavily.
If you look at the current level that we're looking at, we would actually be lowering the current mill levy by 0.0, quick math, probably 0.02 to 0.03, and from actually 2020, 2021, you're looking at lowering it almost 0.3 or 0.25 mils. So we're not actually raising anything total. We're actually lowering it overall.
With the revenue neutral rate is what you're saying.
From the revenue neutral.
Yeah, across the board.
Across the board.
Right.
Okay, but, and then, and
At the 30%. Well, at the 30%.
The revenue neutral rate on one of these funds is the general that has to be, and the state does this up themselves, but it has to be 20 mils. It's not a fiction.
absolutely,
So it has to be adjusted up.
and go to the 30.
Go to the 20.
Go to the 20,
Go to
okay.
20 mils from 19.
Okay, okay,
The capital outlay, or the bond, capital outlay is going from 6 down to 5.
okay,
Bond and interest would go from 10.67 down to 9.138. And then the projected one is to raise the LOB from 14.662 to 16.04.
okay. Yeah, and there again, I'll go back to what Bob said, I think if we've got enough money to run our school, because you do this every year, a budget's done every year, state gives funds, federal gives funds. I just think that, everybody has come out of a heck of a deal with this COVID. Businesses shut down and still haven't made back the revenue that, they probably lost during that time. So I'd say that in raising, for taxes, I would say not to raise anything on the taxes or the mill levy.
We're not specifically raising taxes. We're trying to maintain what we currently have. I think it's agreed upon that our service, our teachers, our facilities, et cetera, are very good. We're wanting to maintain that quality.
And so what are we maintaining as far as dollar wise? What do we have in the kitty right now, dollar wise, to run the school?
In reserves?
In reserves.
It's 2.9.
2.9 million? Okay, thank you.
Any other delegations? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is David Mars, and I'm a citizen here in Osage City, Kansas. My question is directed to Mr. Williams. And I'm kind of glad that the question just came up, pointing out the exact money that is being set on. It was stated that when you came onto the school board, that the school had no money. How much money does the school board actually need? Is 3 million not enough? I don't believe that it is the taxpayer's responsibility to create a slush fund for the school district.
In reference to my comment, or that comment, that was back when we were going through the Brownback era, and he cut taxes for businesses. And basically, we went to a block grant system, which we didn't know when we were getting the money, how it was coming for sure. It changed a lot of things. At that time, we had to be very careful about how we took care of our funds and how we dealt with every situation, from keeping good teachers, not cutting positions, those kind of things. And we did it on pretty slim margins. So those were the days where we had some money set aside that really counted to get us through that. A lot of schools had to cut teachers, had to cut programs, and we were able to maintain them through that. So just referring to those times, it hasn't been that many years ago. That's what I was talking about, keeping some funds in contingency, so we were prepared if we have any issues of that nature.
Okay, I appreciate that answer, but again, if there was no money at that time, but now we're sitting on 3 million, again, how much money is exactly needed for the school?
Well, there are some things that came about because of COVID funds, and otherwise we would have spent that money. So that's what that's about.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else for delegation? Watch this helmets up here. So we need to do this in 3 parts, so I'll make the motion for the first part is that we have to adopt the general fund rate, and it needs to be the 20 mils by state law. I'll make that motion to adopt the 20 mils, the general fund tax rate for the 21-22 school year.
Second.
Aye.
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 On the second one, I go back to where I've been from the get-go. So I'm gonna make the motion that we keep the LOB at 14.662 for the 21-22 school year. With that vote not being seconded, then is there another motion that would like to be made?
I move we approve the supplemental general fund at the 30% LOB for 2021-2022.
Which what one, Melody?
16.049 as published.
Right, is it, that's what I was checking for too, that's the 16.049.
16.0.
Okay, yeah, sure, we'll put the right thing. Second.
Aye.
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 So I will make the motion that we adopt the resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate for the 21-22 school year.
Second. Aye.
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 Aye. I will make the motion, we adjourn the revenue neutral hearing rate. So hearing.
Aye.
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 Aye. Now, make a new motion that we call to order the budget hearings, portion of this, and I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as noted.
Second. Aye.
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 Aye. Now we have budget delegation, anybody that would like to speak on behalf of the budget? Make a motion that we approve the budget for the 21-22 school year to be adopted as published in the Osage County Herald Chronicle on August 19, 2021.
Second. Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. I'll make a motion, we adjourn that meeting. Second. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, aye. We can all go home. Now our regular scheduled meeting. So we'll call this meeting to order. I'd make a motion that we adopt the agenda as mailed.
Second, aye.
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 Aye. Delegation, Mr. Ford.
Well, thanks, this thing working.
That's right.
I'd like just to come up here, to be flat honest with you. I'm usually up there talking, we do our sports awards. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for letting me come and speak with you tonight. I want you to know anything I'm going to say is intended to be positive, not negative in any way. So if it's interpreted by anybody, whether they're in this room or on that little camera that's out there, that's not the intent. Trust me, everything that I want to address here is positive. The teachers got together and they made up a letter to read to the board, supporting our administrators and letting our board members know that we think we have some pretty good administrators. I'm going to read that to you. So if you give me a chance, and when I get done reading that, I'm going to say a few words in my own, some of my opinions about some things. So let me get my glasses on. To the Board of Education and Osage City community, the purpose of this letter is to inform the board and the community of our genuine support of Mr. Hutton and other administrators of USD 420. The last couple of years have been extremely difficult for anyone involved in the education system. During this time, administrators have been asked to make unprecedented decisions regarding the safety and education of our students and staff. We know that although these decisions were very hard to make and were sometimes unpopular, they were always made with the best interest of everyone involved in the school at heart. COVID is not the only reason we are writing this letter. We know that Mr. Hutton and our other administrators have so many more responsibilities on their plate than COVID. We'd like to express a few ways that we as a staff have felt supported and valued by Mr. Hutton and our other administrators over time. Mr. Hutton has established a cohesive school community and shown he is invested in continuing that in the future. USD 420 is in a stable position financially, which allows us to maintain a great staff and excellent facilities. In the past, the district has faced reduction in staff and minimally maintained facilities due to poor budgeting. Previous tight budgets have vastly limited our ability to make necessary purchases to keep the school running efficiently. Mr. Hutton is available and willing to meet with all staff and listen to concerns and ideas we may have. He values our input and our opinion. Overall, he truly cares about our community, school, students, and staff. His decision-making, work ethic, and his willingness to go above and beyond sets him apart from other superintendents. When we walk in these doors each morning, we know that we are in the best facilities around, working with top-notch staff, have access to technology that is unmatched, and most importantly, the adamant support of our administrators. Mr. Hutton is a very big part of how we got to this point. We trust the decisions that he has had to make and will make in the future. He does not do anything without giving it a great deal of thought. We ask that you put the same trust in him that we do. Thank you. And then there's 68 of us teachers that sign this, and we have 16 of our classified staff that sign this. My signature is the last one on there. When they asked me to come and do this, I wasn't going to come up here and read this. There was only 5 signatures on the list. So, 68 people signed up. I want to make sure I had support of me coming up here to talk to you guys. So that's the letter. I'm going to give this to Patty when I leave, and she can pass that around and you can read the signatures and all that. But I want to kind of put my perspective on some things. And I think when I come and talk to you guys, I want you to know I'm not just talking to the school board. I'm talking to our administrators. I'm talking to a group of teachers we have back here. I'm talking to our community. I'm talking to our parents. I'm talking to our bus drivers. I'm talking to anybody that's invested or has some investment in our school district. So anything I say is I want everybody to hear this, not just our school board. First thing I'd like to do is thank our school board. I know when you guys all ran for school board 2 years ago, we didn't have COVID. None of you signed up for this. None of you. There's not enough money in the world right now. They could pay me to be a school board member. And, you know, it's in our community, but it's in every community. You could probably go over to Linden, you could probably go over to Lebo, you could go every school in the state, in the United States, and we're all dealing with COVID-related issues. And I know that you guys are working tireless. You have to be tired of the phone calls. You have to be tired of going to the grocery store and waiting to see who's going to hit you up next to talk about whatever issue it is that they want to talk about. You know, I go to the football game on Friday night, and I see some of you that have kids that play there, and I know, maybe I'm wrong, you're kind of standing over there, and I can just kind of tell you just don't want people to come and hit you up about that. And it's kind of sad you can't go to your own parents' games and see what's going on with them and just enjoy a good Friday evening. Okay, our administration, I don't want to add a whole bunch more on there than what I've already said, but I want to put it in my perspective. I'm married to an administrator, not one of them. I'm married to an administrator. I see firsthand what goes on with these administrators. And I hope the people in our community, our teachers and our staff understand it, because when they were hired years ago, they were hired to do a job this big. COVID's came along, they now have an additional job this big. How do you do both? How do you do both? And when you see the stress level that they go through, they're trying to put out fires, they never put them out. They just get them to smolder, because about the time this one smolder, guess what? A new fire gets fired up, and it's just nonstop. You know, a simple thing that happened last week, our custodians went down with COVID, and we have no nighttime custodians. You know, does that seem like a big deal? For the rest of it's not a big deal. For Troy Hutton, it's a big deal. The other thing I'd say positive about our administration, we've got some experienced administrators. Dean has been in this district longer than I have. Tony's been here for 20 years. He was my AD when we won state back in 2000. I think Tony's been here 15. I think Tim's been here 10. That's a lot of experience. You don't think that's not a positive thing for our school district to have right now in this time? I would hate to see how our school would be run if we had some wet behind the ear administrator right out of college trying to make some of these decisions and trying to get things done. Who knows where we would be? Who knows where we would be? So those are all my thank yous and all my positive things I want to say. So from here on out, what I would like to say is this. I was at that football game on Friday night. It's always fun to beat Linden, isn't it, Jay? Especially when you beat them 41-0.
They haven't talked much.
That's good. But here's what I would say. I've been coaching. You guys all know I've been coaching here for 28 years. Lots of sports. Basketball is probably my primary sport, but I've helped with several different things. But as I'm sitting on the sideline and I'm watching that game, you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing the excitement in our kids. The kids are making plays on the football field. They're all patting each other on the back. They're doing those fist bumps, high-fiving. A kid makes a play. They're excited. The parents are excited because we won 41-0. Every kid got to play. Every kid got to play. So every parent's out there thinking, we got the best coaches ever. They're in love with our coaches. Nobody can do anything wrong. We're all doing our you know the Osage City football chant, don't you? We're all doing the Osage City football chants. Push them back, way back. And that's fun. It's exciting. Let me ask everybody that's listening to me tonight, what happens if that score's turned around? What if it's Osage City 0 and Linden 41? What happens then? Trust me, I know. I've been on both sides of the fence. You know, I've won a state championship. Dude, I was the best thing since sliced bread. But I've been on the other side of that where you're not winning those games. People are pointing fingers. It's the coach's fault. The kids don't have the same enthusiasm. They're pointing the fingers and blaming everybody. The parents are upset because why is Jimmy not getting to play? Why is Billy sitting the bench when this kid's over here playing? And it's just negative. It's just negative. And I've been in those situations as a coach where I have to kind of figure out a way to turn those things around, get them heading in the right direction. And I found over my years of coaching, there's two things you have to turn those things around. You have to have unity and you have to have respect. And in my opinion, respect is number one. If you don't have respect, you're never going to get unity. And I think the thing that I pass on to kids and students that I teach is this. Respect is nothing more than following the golden rule. The golden rule is this. You treat other people the way you want to be treated yourself. We're in a place right now with COVID and all the situations, and there's probably dozens of things that you guys are dealing with that I have no clue about. I don't want to have a clue about them. I can only relate to the things I relate to. But what I was saying is respect is nothing more than do unto others as you want others to do unto you. But for us to get things accomplished during this time, we have to also have that unity. And you cannot have the unity if you don't have respect. We're going to disagree. There's going to be times people are dug in, aren't they? Can people be dug in anymore? You're either a Democrat or Republican. You're either COVID, you're a mask wearer or a non-mask wearer. You either get vaccinated or you don't get vaccinated. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. And I know that you guys and everybody involved in this school has to deal with it. I got one last thing I'd like to say, and this is a joke. I hope I can get a smile out of you. I never forget my grandpa's last words. He looked down at me and he said, "Are you still holding the ladder?" That joke cracks me up every time. But what I would say, that's a joke. I wasn't watching my grandpa fall off the ladder. But the point in this, there's no philosophical answer there. You were waiting for some philosophical answer. I have no philosophical answer. But what I would say is this. We all have to step back. You almost have to see the humor in some of this stuff. It'll get better. It will get better 5 years from now. We'll look at this in the past and it'll be long gone. Okay? So I do thank everybody up here and appreciate your time. Thanks.
Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report. Okay. First page, treasurer's report. We get some general fund money. So we have a little bit of capital outlay. Some 397. Slide it out, got some bond and interest money. 82. So we got refund from the IRS, 84,715, and that is our refund of our we get that interest back. Or a good portion of it. Gifts and grants, the pre-K pilot, and that goes right to the Three Lakes Co-op. For petty cash, we got 117, needs to go to the middle school. That's it. Payment of the bills. We had quite a few bills this month. One of those is a dishwasher we ordered back in June, and a heat pump. That dishwasher is 20 years old, I think, 34. So the 45, 22, get it installed and remove the old one.
We just have one big dishwasher, is that right? Or
Just-
And this is the one you mentioned last month.
Yes. The other, if you go down a little bit, you see we replaced 3 doors in the district. Those are outside doors, 10,059. But down at the bottom, you see bleachers. That is not the full amount on the bleachers. We still need the backs to come. Over on the other page, I mentioned you guys earlier, we had a lot of trouble with our freezers right at the beginning of the school start. So we had to do quite a bit of work. Those freezers, a couple of different times they were here and on the west freezer, they pretty much had to put the whole new condenser, and that was 15,000. So that was quite a bit of money to them. But that's like a brand new freezer now, so hopefully we won't fight this. We fight it every year. It seems like right at the start of the school year. It's a bad time. Midwest laser leveling, you see several bills there. last 3 months. And then they did, I would say Martin screwed up the football field, looked pretty good.
That was really nice.
I don't see anything else on the page. The last page, pre-K pilot, that's that deal of money that goes right to 3 Lakes Co-op. And then that's our first assessment. That's why you need a balance coming in on your special ed account, because I got a couple, 2 or 3 payments of that first one was 131,544. Then a copy machine. 85 something. No, it didn't check. That's all I have, Mr. Special.
I will make the motion to adopt the minutes of the regular board meeting of August 11, 2021, to adopt the minutes of the special board meeting of August 26, 2021, to adopt the minutes of the special board meeting of August 30, 2021, to approve the treasurer's report, August 31st, 2021, to repay petty cash in the amount of $117 to the middle school, and payment in the bills in the amount of $478,953.44 for September 8, 2021, and August payroll in the amount of $73,449.73.
Second.
Aye.
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 Aye. Update on test to stay, learn the participation grant progress.
First thing we'd like to do is thank Mrs. Creed. She's helping with the residents, and she's just done a tremendous job. I appreciate it very much. So the update on the test to stay and learn and participate grant, just some of the things that have happened since whenever we met last.
Forever.
6 days.
6
I
days.
think it was 6 days.
6 full days.
So the CLIA certificate that allows us to do that testing here on site has been processed. It's good to go. Grant budget has been submitted. And the go-ahead has been given by Katie H.E. Visited with her at a meeting last Friday. Support staff will be presented for hire in executive session. So we've got some help to do this testing. Test materials have been delivered, so we have the tests, at least some to get going. Most of the PPE has arrived, some has been shipped, should be here soon. Mrs. Creedall has been cleared to utilize the testing submittal program, and that was one that you have to get clearance for, and she was waiting on that clearance, and it has been given. We've got some consent forms ready. We've got copies of consent forms that we developed together. These will be given to parents on an as-needed basis when the students are determined to be in close contact at the school. These must be returned if tested. Do any testing without any consent. That's an option that parents can make on their own. They don't have to be a part of it.
And if they don't, can I ask a quick question? For clarifying. So if they do not consent to test, they will be excluded from school for the time frame, the quarantine time frame. Okay. And if they consent to test, just a reminder for those of you at home, if you consent to test and you are negative that month, you will test every morning during the quarantine time frame. You will, if you have a negative test, I'm looking at Lisa to make sure I'm saying it right. If you have a negative test, that student will be wearing a mask, but they can attend school as per normal and participate in extracurricular activities. It's been a long day. I get a speech impediment. I'm tired. Okay, so, but if you don't consent, they're at home doing schoolwork at home. No remote learning, because we can't do that now. They will just be doing their schoolwork at home. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure everyone remembered. Yes, it's a test.
They're testing the kids every day for COVID. And if they
Only the close content.
It's the quick test.
It's the quick test for the
They don't
close
go up inside
content.
your head.
and if a parent doesn't consent, then their child is going to be
They'll be
excluded
quarantined
and
just
stay
like
home.
excluded like they are now.
You realize that the COVID tests are not reliable.
We're doing what we believe is the right thing to do. All right, go ahead, sure. Go ahead, Mr. Henry.
Okay, so we'd also make that available to staff as we get started, so that we don't exclude staff.
Wonderful.
Those contacts affected, that would have a positive effect on the system. And close contact exclusion guidelines on the website, that's been cleared through Osage County Health Department. Lisa spent a lot of time working through those and sent those over, got those approved. They did pretty good, in their website as we speak. So I think we can make the test work. We'd be ready to start potentially Monday.
It's exciting.
So,
That was gonna be my big question.
and I would like to say that it's not going to go without some hiccups. We're doing, I mean, we've done this, we put this together relatively fast. So we
Yes.
want that to be clear, but I think we've done due diligence and making sure all of the steps are taken. So I think that we can put that information out and send it forward to those that would want to participate to be happening as soon as.
Okay, so we have testing supplies, PPE, we have some. Do we need more PPE in order to start, or do we have enough to?
I don't know what was this.
She's got the thumbs up.
We're good to go.
Okay.
It's on order. And then
Perfect. Yes, she said.
Okay. So that,
Oh, yeah. It's been brought to my attention that, I don't know that that's right or wrong, but, vaccines have been encouraged for students, and it's not our position to, as the staff or personnel at the school, to encourage that or discourage it. So I just want to make that clear. It's not, that's a parent's decision.
so then, right now, the thing that is holding us back from starting is really we need the personnel available and ready, right? We gotta get them trained up.
We have people that send our executive session.
Right.
You're saying versus tomorrow versus Monday.
Yeah, we're done.
All right.
Amen. Yes.
She's saying to start tomorrow versus Monday.
So you said we didn't start.
Right, so that would have to.
I think we don't have training completed, we don't have,
Okay.
we have some time to get squared away, so.
Is there anything we need to do from a location perspective? So I know we talked about doing it in the middle school gym. Is there anything that we need to prep?
I think we have, I don't know, is that current?
Oh, curtain.
Hoping that that gets it.
Monday is the 3rd.
They'll give enough time to have everything in place.
Is it gonna be perfect? I know, I think we feel like we can move ahead. If there's problems, we find that that's not, we need to rethink, but I think right now, we feel like most of the steps, all the steps, having some PPE have been taken. So, we have training done yet. This has happened very fast.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Do we currently have students that will, or I guess could fall under that protocol of having to be tested?
It's close contacts at school.
I know Thursday, Friday, and the weekend is still to come.
Right now, we have probably, I'd say, 6.
Yeah.
So if testing started tomorrow, there would be potentially 6 students that would have to start out. I'm just trying to get an idea of what,
That changes a lot if it becomes 15, you know, so hopefully we can start with a few, low number like that.
And that's students and staff, correct?
If we have staff, they can participate. It does,
The 6th.
that staff.
Do we have a document that we plan on posting online? Okay, here's the, requirements for consenting to this so that parents have a,
They can just download it or make
We
it
can
easy.
put this online. I think it was as needed, get the consent out. So you send it all out at one time, people lose them.
Email the parents or whatever.
So if they were in this program twice, do they have to sign it?
No, as long as we have this for this school year, we'd be okay. This was KDHE sent this.
Perfect.
Enacted a little bit.
do you think there's anything on that consent form that we need to put on our website of just for parents or families to understand
We
what
can
the
put
test
that
state?
on, I've got a letter that we developed, they said,
Oh, okay.
we can put that on.
I think more communication.
We can get it on the website.
Yeah, I think more communication, the better, kind of just the high levels of what this means, what this program means.
The backside of this letter has a lot of the details.
Perfect,
of what
yeah.
needs to happen.
I think over communicating.
So
It's
Troy,
always a
this is
good
a
thing.
program that's been implemented by almost every district in the county right now, is it not?
Everybody's in the process of, well, I wouldn't say every district is not capable of doing it. It's, Santa Fe Trail, I think, is trying to get it off the ground, Mersey Valley, I'm not sure about Burlingame. Linden would be awful hard, I think, because they don't have nurse. You gotta have some staff to help you run the program.
Does anybody have?
does this end our mask mandate? So like tomorrow and Thursday, do students still need to wear masks for pre-K through 6, or is this effectively in that, or do we have to do a vote to end it officially?
Yeah, I feel like we should,
I think the motion ended tonight, so if we're gonna extend it, we'd have to make a motion to extend
right,
it.
to extend it till the testing starts or something like that. And then, depending on if we agree with that, then once the testing starts, masks go away. They're now back to highly encouraged option once testing starts.
Troy, I have a question about the testing. 2 questions actually. So is this, do you
We can
have
get
like
them.
And that is, there's people online too, so you can't.
loud enough town to hear from back there? I know you guys probably don't know, but is this for the unforeseeable future? We don't know how long the testing will be. Like we're just gonna do it until
As long as it needs to.
as long as we have to do it.
Hopefully enough shorter time period than you think, but I mean, we're planning for the year, I think.
I would say that the testing.
I just wasn't sure.
It's under my understanding that the testing that we're implementing is in lieu of the current close
Delta
contact
variant.
team. Because if we don't do the testing and there's a close contact, then there could be multiple students that would then have to quarantine for a minimum of 10 days
Right.
out of school. This allows the student to return to school, get that test, even if they have to wear a mask for 6 days, they get to be in school during that time.
So it's the 10 days, but that weekend's gonna be included in that 10 days, right? So then the
If
week,
they come back midday, we're not gonna test them.
right, but like
But
if
the
they,
weekend
then the
counts
close
as-
contact, right, so then they'll mask during that week, school day time, test during that school day time, but the weekend's be included in that 10-day time frame. And I thought I remembered watching something, last time you guys said, I was just for clarification purposes, I thought I remembered something about the close contacts, you talking about you mentioned something about the vaccines. Close contacts that were vaccinated don't have to be tested? Was that correct?
I think that's,
Is that correct, Lisa?
I thought
Unless they're showing
Symptoms.
symptoms.
They're asymptomatic.
okay, I thought I remembered that last time, so I just wanted to clarify that, that was all. Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Is this program best to do some overlap where we maintain masks for a certain period of time, another month or whatever, while we implement, get people trained, know what we're doing, do the testing?
I mean, anyone can correct me. I've looked at so many things at this point, right? So if I was reading the KDHE stuff correctly, it really is to get rid of the mask. In lieu of school, yeah, in lieu of, that's a good way.
Right
to say
now,
it.
the masks are in place, it's basically a numbers game, regardless of what the argument is how many kids can we keep if they are in close contact with quarantine. Without the mask, we'll be doing the testing, but like, one of the concerns I've got is like a fourth grade class that had 16, 17, whatever it was, in one day. If we're not prepared for a slug like that, right now the masks are just protecting us from pulling as many numbers to do that. My concern is this program's in its early stages. In order to be effective, have everybody have the supplies and training and everything. We can probably handle 6 at a time right now, but if it explodes to where we're, having some of the numbers come out that we have experienced, now we're gonna get slugged with, people learning the ropes, maybe short on materials.
I think that's what just to make sure I'm understanding that's why we requested 2 additional nurses, aides. And I'm assuming we have more testing than just for 10 a day or something. I'm assuming we have hundreds of tests at our disposal.
At this time,
Yeah,
we can never predict what will be the case in December.
right. So I think at this point, it's doing what we need it to do. I mean, our intention is that we'll be able to handle it.
One of my concerns and why I brought it up is just before I came in, WIDBW had a breaking news out of Burlington, just as shutting down their high school, because from Tuesday until today, they went from 1% cases to 11%. So they're having to shut down. And thinking about that, when you start looking at numbers that would have to be pulled for quarantine due to not having the mask, we could have that same type of slug hit this program. And I want it to be effective. I think this is a tool to get out of the mask, take care of our kids. We'll use it as a tool to help us evolve away from just saying that a piece of cloth from your face is the answer. And keeping the kids in school. Right, yeah. And keep the largest number of kids in school. But by the same token, I hate to slug it with a bunch of kids. And then when we have, those numbers, as the staff is learning, we are just getting our supplies in, trying to learn the ropes. So we have this slug of kids, and we start at 7:40 and go till 10:30, 11 o'clock. That isn't necessarily effective with those numbers and having to do 15 minutes for tests. I'd like to be able to see this be successful. So we sacrifice a little bit right now through the rest of the year. We've got a successful program. Help us evolve out of the situation that we're in.
At least, yeah.
It doesn't, you don't have to spend 15 minutes with each person. That's how long that.
That's how long it's going.
But you're not spending that entire 15 minutes. You can have 10 kids lined up doing the test at the same time. That's what I understood the ADHD.
That is correct, but they have to be monitored in the gymnasium. We can't just send it back to class until we have the results.
it's the results that take.
The results take 15 minutes, but you could.
Yeah.
And the big
I'm
thing
scared
here
it's
is
not
quarantine. It's not the positive cases, it's the quarantine numbers that were, positive cases can't be heard numbers.
No.
So it's the quarantine numbers we got to try to fix.
My thought is, it's just like any type of mass vaccine or mass testing. a month from now, they'll be very effective at doing it. Starting out the first few days, it's gonna take more time to test. Would that be correct? Assuming that, Lisa?
Sorry.
I said you're going to be much better at giving the test a month from now than you are starting next on Monday or tomorrow even, so.
Can I ask a question? Mrs. Pretal, how are staff going to monitor kids that have been tested versus kids that are just wearing a mask? And how are they going to make sure, unless we put a letter A on their mask, that they were tested? I'm just curious because that's going to be very challenging for my staff to do that along with the high school, middle school staff. To me, it's almost impossible to do unless the kid is very trustworthy and you say, wear that mask because you have to wear it all day long. I hope to goodness that they do because half of the other kids aren't wearing masks. Does that make sense to everyone?
That is a question that I have brought up to different schools that are doing the testing. We need to be careful about privacy of the student, but we also have to be diligent to inform our staff of who they need to. Our staff also needs to be aware of who needs to be wearing the mask if they've been tested. So that is a question that I have asked, and I'm still waiting on a response.
And who are you waiting on?
Different schools in the area that have implemented this program.
Okay, so maybe my memory is serving me incorrectly. I thought at the last meeting, and I forget her name, the KDHE representative, I thought Wendy, I thought she stepped out to call her supervisor or something to ask that exact question and came in and said that we could share the student's name with the teacher only. I thought that's what
I'm verifying that as well
Okay.
with KDHE's epidemiology department.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I believe we need to make a motion to start the test to stay, to learn, participate, beginning on September 13th.
Second.
Nay.
There are no motions before.
The motion is to start the test to stay, learn, and participate plan on September 13th. Monday. Aye.
Motion carries.
To clarify, those kids that this will, staff or whatever, we would make specific phone calls to them so that they get the specific directions.
For Monday. Perfect. Yep. And then we'll be issuing information online for parents, staff, members of the community. Thank you again. Great work.
On that yet, then this program, how does it affect the mask mandate? Is that what we're dealing with that motion?
I think we'll need to make another.
The mask mandate was eliminated as of tomorrow, so I, in the original motion, your help was the original motion to go through September.
Get us through today.
So
Make a motion to extend the mask mandate to, next board meeting in October. For another decision.
Even once the testing starts. They just continue the masking for another week.
Yes.
I'll second that.
No.
Yes.
Aye.
No.
Nay.
No.
no. Do you guys want something in place for the next few days? Since we're not starting this till Monday, do you want to extend the mask through Friday, starting Monday to go get mask? Or does that matter to you guys at this point in time? I'm asking you guys.
Well, we don't extend it, it's just like it's a free-for-all for the next 2 days, and come Monday, you
So
guys are
I
gonna be
would-
swamped.
I would make the motion then that we extend the pre-K through 6th through Friday, September the 10th. To have the mask mandate for pre-K through 6.
Second.
No.
Aye.
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 Have Brett's seen this and Kelly's seen this, and this kind of adds on to what Dennis was talking about earlier. So I just have a little something I put together to read for tonight after this was all done. I decided a long time ago I wasn't going to post anything else regarding my personal opinions on social media regarding the COVID issues about our school. However, since that time, all these hashtags started showing up that says I support my administration started popping up. Whether they realize that or not, it's dividing the community. Now we have people picking sides on everything that happens in school, from that raises from people received to every little problem that we have within our district. It's time for everyone to grow up and do what's in the best interest of the students of USD 420. This is for everyone from the newest hire to the 30-year plus employee. We all need to be held accountable. This includes the Board of Education, the administration, the teachers, classified staff, the parents, and most of all the students. This problem is not going to fix itself. It's going to take a team effort, and that has to start now. The Board of Education has implemented a plan to move forward with. Whether you agree or disagree, this is the policy in place moving forward. This is a time we all need to look in the mirror and decide the direction that we're going to take. I will support a new hashtag that clearly states I support my community and all those within it.
Yeah.
So are you saying specifically that the other hashtag is dividing the community?
Creates a division. And this was my opinion, not necessarily the rules.
Okay, I was like, I
That's why I
disagree
said,
with that.
that's why I said I, not we.
Okay, all right, thank you, Jay.
Any other old business? New business.
The only new business I want to bring up is, we would like to get a full pit. That is, replacing the one that we've had here, and it's been severely damaged in a wind event that happened maybe 3 years ago now. It's gotten to the point where it's, not effective, but we did get, some money recovered on that. And most of that money will cover the cost of replacing the football pit. In order for us to get that by track season, we still may not get track season. It needs to be ordered relatively soon.
So I'd make the motion, we purchase the full vault pit. Is it pit?
I don't know, whatever you want to call
What
it.
else it's called, in the amount of $19,019.42, which includes the freight. I'd make a motion, we go ahead and purchase that through capital outlay.
Yeah, and the money that was recovered was,
Okay,
all those people.
Excellent.
so,
Aye.
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 Who seconded that?
I did. Three Lakes football.
The only thing I've heard from Three Lakes, Kathy Nicholson does a real good job of keeping us informed. It looks like Mr. Hutt does Friday. She sent a memo just updating everyone on what's going on. And still the challenge of finding paras. And it seems like as soon as they hire paras, they have resignations, and it's just a real uphill battle right now. And she's asking anyone that knows anybody that might be interested in being a para to contact them. And that's all I have for 3 weeks.
Recreation report.
Let's see, we met in August. I did a review for the aquatic center, talked about attendance and swim card purchases, and then all the revenue for concession admissions, etc. We had a fall baseball, softball league meeting on August 15th. Update on 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th grade tackle football. which third and fourth had their first game Saturday and beat Jeff West 19-0. So shout out to the third and fourth grade kids. So fifth and sixth grade will have their first game this Saturday, the 11th. Flag football, have 45 total kids out for flag football. Pre-K and kindergarten, there's 22, first grade 14, and second grade 9. They participate or will participate in Burlingame. First game's supposed to be September 19th. Soccer, there's 69 total kids out for soccer this year, by far the most I've ever had. 27 6U kids, enough for 4 teams. 8U, I've got 25, and 10U, there's 17. Their games are supposed to start September 18th, and we participate with Overbrook and Linden. Cheer camp forms are out right now. Sign-up deadline is Monday, the 13th. And then youth volleyball camp forms are out. That will be in October. And we did a facility update. We're in the process of removing the grass on the infield of the high school baseball field. We have been consulting with Martin Lane, and that'll be accomplished this fall. And then new material added to be ready for the high school season next spring. Let's see, there's sand volleyball court now at Huffman Park. Martin Lane's family donated the materials and a lot of the labor to get that accomplished and done. So if you're over at Huffman Park, there is a net volleyball or sand volleyball court right now. So we review the advisory board terms. Have 3 board members that will be rolling off in November. So everyone out in YouTube land, if anyone wants to be a part of the my park advisory board, contact me. Then Mike Plessy was appointed as a new member in May. Smoke in the Spring, the date for it will be April 8th and 9th, 2022. And there'll be a chamber event in Osage City October 9th. It'll be a disc golf tournament and then a cornhole tournament, and then also a beer garden. So it'll be kind of the parking lot of the of the football field on the west side, and it will extend down towards the ball field parking lot. So that's it, right?
I forgot to say something earlier with Mr. Ford, since he picked on me. I am an alumni of Linden. However, since then, I've got 3 kids that go here to Osage City. My daughter was a student teacher here at Osage City, and my wife works here at Osage City. So thank you all for accepting me into the Indian Nation and Tiger Nation.
You wise in the older years.
I would make a motion to go into executive session to discuss certified classified positions and supplemental positions pursuant to the elected personnel exception under coma in the open meeting to resume in the boardroom or in the auditorium. We're going to need 15 minutes in there, 5 minutes, get back 20 minutes. And for 20 minutes, we'll meet with you. With Superintendent present.
Second,
Aye.
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 Okay, what time do you want to return to open session?
20 minutes. Okay, I will make a motion that we approve Ruth Pena as a preschool aide for the 21-22 school year. Make a motion to approve Diana Thompson and Lindsay Heppenstall as nurses aides for the 21-22 school year. Make a motion to approve Kevin Kramer as assistant girls golf coach for the 2021 season. And a motion to increase bus drivers of single routes at a rate of 75 cents and double routes at a rate of $1.50.
Second, aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
I,
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
I.
Aye.